Guys, we just finished one of the craziest pay-per-views that we are ever going to witness. I cannot believe Sean Strickland is a world champion. He beat Israel Adesanya so easily, it didn't even make it look hard. And what is crazy is that the run and the push that Israel Adesanya has had from the UFC, I was honestly sitting there the entire time, scoring rounds, trying to work out the robbery. I was trying to figure out how they were going to rob it and swing it to Israel Adesanya. Guys, did anyone else have that feeling? Down in the comments? Let me know, because I was certainly doing that. You know, the first round was Sean Strickland's round. Second round was Israel Adesanya's round. Then we got to the third round and I was just thinking to myself, right, that round was Sean Strickland's round, but they're going to give it to Israel Adesanya. I think it's because they were showing the significant strikes at the bottom of the screen, and instantly I was just like, that's not right. Like in the third round, they were like, Izzy had doubled Sean Strickland. It's like, no, that's not what happened. You know, and the commentary were like, oh, Israel's dominating this round. And I was like, oh, he's not really dominating this round, is he? And then we get into the fourth round. Oh, excuse me, guys. I've had a cold all week, which is why the videos have been lacking. I apologize, but I had to make this one. Then we get into the fourth round, and people's, the commentary team starts to switch a bit, and people on Twitter are starting to notice, and Sean is having more and more success, and Sean clearly wins the fourth round. You're like, that's going to be a hard round for them to steal. It's definitely 3-1 going into the last round, but on the UFC, on the judges' scorecards, it could be 2 each. And this fifth round, is just like a pre-written, like they're going to give it to Izzy no matter what. And the fifth round just happened so convincingly. Guys, I cannot believe that we have gotten here. The UFC curse, the UFC game curse is a real thing. Like, they just posted it and Israel just lost. Like, I'm surprised that it was only $6 for Sean to win. When we've seen like Juliana Pena numbers at around $11 for her to beat Amanda Nunes back in the day. I thought if it was $11, that would be fair. That would be fair. Like, no one thought Sean Strickland was going to win this. No one. People wanted Sean to win. Like, I was hoping Sean would win. People were backing Sean, but no one thought he was going to win. We all thought it was going to be a funny press conference. We were all going to have a lot of fun. And then Israel was just going to come in and just kick the shit out of Sean Strickland. That's what we thought was going to happen. That was meant to happen. That is not what happened. One thing that has come up straight away is that Dana White is already saying that Israel Adesanya is going to get an immediate rematch. Now, as much as I wanted Sean to win, so, I am a biased Sean Strickland fan, I do not think that Israel Adesanya deserves an instant rematch after that. He has just lost and re-won the belt. That makes him 2 losses, 1 win in his last 3. And it wasn't exactly a close competitive fight, was it? So he is not re-entering the championship as a dominant champion. He entered this championship as a struggling champion. And he just got dominated by the number 7, number 6 contender. Like, that's not exactly a good look. That's not the sort of person that should walk into a rematch. I think that if we're going off this meritocracy, then we were all so, we were cheering for it. Not 6 months ago, weren't we, guys? Weren't we all cheering for this meritocracy? I think if we are going to go off this meritocracy that we were all speaking about 6 months ago, we should keep that energy. I think Dricus du Plessis deserves the next title shot. Jared Cannonier was in a very close fight with Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland lost that fight on the judges' scorecards. Jared Cannonier won that fight. That means the person who weighed in as the backup fighter, which is, meant to be the next best guy, has a win, controversial win, over the current sitting champion, Sean Strickland. That means there are 2 people that, to me, have a better resume for the next title fight against Sean Strickland than Israel Adesanya does. That's just the facts and the way that it is. And if you really, really want to play this game of meritocracy, it should be Israel Adesanya fighting the next up-and-comer. And the next up-and-comer is going to be the next winner between Chimaev and Paulo Costa. I think if Israel Adesanya wants another shot at the title, he needs to fight the winner of Chimaev or Paulo Costa. And let's see how Dana White privilege goes there. Let's see how the UFC plays with that, because everyone knows that Israel Adesanya is the UFC's star power. Their baby that they want to protect. They're already trying to push him into a rematch when we can name 2 contenders that deserve it more than him. They were trying to do a 6-week turnaround into this fight. 6 weeks. It was either going to be Robert Whittaker or Dricus du Plessis, and it was going to be 6 weeks to get back in there. The UFC should just play the same game. If we're going to be playing at this meritocracy, just play the same game. Sean Strickland just took very little damage. Sean Strickland should be like, all right, if Izzy wants a rematch, he gets it in 6 weeks' time. That's it. 6 weeks. I'm fighting again before the end of the year. But I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to make sure that Izzy is nice and rested, which means just sit him out. Just sit him out. UFC play favorites. Just sit him out. Put Jared Cannonier in there against Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland will not have that many title defenses. Like, I can't keep doubting Sean Strickland going forward, but I'm going to. His fight style cannot allow him to be that much of a dominant champion for that long. Let's say he beats Jared Cannonier. Okay, then he still has to go up against Dricus du Plessis. Okay, let's see where the landscape of MMA is there. But if I was the UFC, I would put Jared Cannonier against Sean Strickland and just sort of bet in the background and, you know, do your little tricks with the judging to try and get Jared Cannonier the leg up and have Izzy versus Jared Cannonier as a future title shot. Or Izzy trying to win his title again off Dricus du Plessis. Because for some reason, this Sean Strickland matchup for Izzy is a bad matchup for Izzy. Maybe it's because Sean Strickland just constantly walks forward and doesn't give the style bender any space. He's pushed up back against the cage where he can't go and create those rangy motions, which is what Israel likes to do. Israel likes to run around on the outside, rack up a lot of points with the leg kicks, which he can't do because Sean Strickland is always in front of him, crowding the kicker. And Israel likes to lean back and counter strike, which he can't do because Sean Strickland's hands are so high and he's constantly putting them up against the cage, not giving him any space to lean. I know that's how Izzy got Alex Pereira, but that's because Alex Pereira was winging shots and it was, you know, his breath was already out of him. He was caught up in the middle of that firefight. Sean Strickland doesn't wing shots like that. Sean Strickland just clips away with the jab. I can't believe I'm breaking down how Sean Strickland beats Israel Adesanya again in the rematch. But there you go. Maybe this sort of odd style of Sean Strickland, this moronic, back up straight, marching forward, maybe that is the style that can beat Israel Adesanya. And that is the style that's going to beat him again in the rematch. So the UFC, the advice to them would be, Izzy took a lot of damage in that. Just pull him back for a bit. Let Sean Strickland get another rematch. See if he, let Sean Strickland get another title fight in. Maybe he loses that. Maybe he loses the next one. And then put Izzy back in there without having won a single fight. Give him that Dana White privilege. Put him back in there without winning a single other fight to try and reclaim his title after he's healed up for a bit. That's what the UFC should be doing. I don't think they should try and rush him in there against Sean Strickland. I think they should let the Sean Strickland thing play out. Having said that, I do think that after losing the title, winning it back, and losing it so dominantly, Israel Adesanya does need to fight a up-and-comer. And, you know, maybe just do Izzy versus Dricus du Plessis in a fight night in Africa. Look how well UFC Paris did with Cyril Gane. Pretty much they built that entire card around Cyril Gane. It was one of the funnest cards to watch of the year, purely because of how much the crowd got behind him. So maybe just do Izzy versus Dricus somewhere in Africa, either in Nigeria, in South Africa, make it a UFC fight night, make it a huge event, use it as a showcase for young and talented African fighters coming up, and just have it as that. That would be an awesome, awesome fight night. But I don't think putting Izzy back in there against Sean Strickland right now is the smartest thing to do, even though we're already starting to push for it. Guys, I think that's where we'll leave this one. This already is a very interesting situation when we go to see how it's going to play out. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. When it got to the judges' scorecards, did you think that there was a chance that we were going to see a robbery? And how do you think the UFC should play this next? How would you play this next? What would be next for Israel Adesanya for you? What would be next for Sean Strickland? Leave that down there in the comments. Guys, if you've been enjoying these videos, maybe consider subscribing. I'll see you all in the next one.